Hello, and welcome back to Chairshot Wrestling Podcast. I'm Steve O'Mac. I'm here from Moonlight Studios with Dino D-Truth, as always.
What is crack-a-lacking, Steve-O?
I'm very good, Dino. We had a decent episode of Raw this week.
We did.
We got a lot to talk about.
But it's the best Raw I think we've seen in a while. But anyway, before we get into it, I just want to say if you can please hit that subscribe button. It's all much appreciated. Also, if you haven't got time to listen to us and watch us, you can listen to it on Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Spotify. So please do that. Anyway, Steve-O, what was I saying?
Right. Before we do get into it, I'm just going to quickly just show this off, right? So, another year older, mate. On Monday, I was another year older, and this was my missus decided that she'd get me as a little sort of a little birthday gift to wear. So it makes us feel like we're making it, doesn't it? We've got our own t-shirts, and there'll be one on the way for you soon, I would imagine. So
well, yeah,
we're getting
sure
there,
mine's on the way. You know what I mean? So I can only hope so.
If anyone wants one, put it in the comments. Yeah. We'll sort you out of a Chairshot Wrestling Podcast t-shirt. Not going to wear it down the pub, are you? But hey,
yeah.
Right, okay. So let's get into it. The opening of Monday Night Raw. First thing I'm going to say is, mate, it took 10 minutes for anyone to say anything, as per normal. So 10 minutes of the show just seems to just get wasted with people walking around. And then, by the time the crowd done their chanting, Roman chant, finally actually get to doing some talking. And then the opening bit was decent, right? It forwarded this storyline. I'm not really into this bloodline thing, but I can see that it's starting to take shape a little bit. But the main talking point being that he's brought Jacob Fatu into the bloodline, and he actually goes as far as giving him, or putting it over his neck and giving him his own sort of ulafala, not a red one, but like a brown looking one.
And it's sort of
what do you reckon?
I mean, it's like it's buying in this story, isn't it? It's like there's sort of deception, like mutiny in the bloodline, and they're going on like who's the right hand man? Is it Jey Uso? Is it Big Jim? And like, yeah, it's interesting storyline. I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest, because I'm just thinking, what's going on with it, and later on we'll get into it. But then it's like now they appear like Big Jim appears to be this sort of like. Big Jimmy Uso appears to be this sort of like the nice guy character, like the nice guy in the family, and like Jay's like the crazy one and that, but then like Jacob's there, like there's a lot going on, but as Jacob said, he acknowledges Roman, but he doesn't acknowledge the other two, and I think Roman's done it to to just like sort this out, but whether it will or not, whether it's just going to even like tear the family further. I mean, it's only time will tell, won't it?
Yeah, well, Jay looked pretty jealous, didn't he? When that fella was getting put on him by Roman, you could see him in the background. He wasn't happy. Jimmy looked a little bit confused, but Jay looked like he was fuming.
Oh, he did.
So, but yeah, I mean,
and it's going to tie in now this theory. I'm thinking maybe he's going to go in to win, not only win King of the Ring, maybe he's going to win title, because, it's them always like, look at me, I'm over here winning titles. Why is he right-hand man, And there's definitely a lot to be said to about it.
I think what it does is it gives them a few different options, right? It seems to open up the options of where they can take this storyline. But for me, like the most interesting bit happened after they stopped speaking and they were making their way backstage.
Yeah.
And they walked past this like a celebrity that was in the crowd. It's like a comedy actor.
Yeah, I mean, I recognise him.
I don't really know him, but like his name is Eric Andre. And when we looked it up, he's done a few sort of things on Netflix, and he has got a movie coming out with John Cena. So I kind of get the link. I see why he was in the crowd. But I don't know if you picked up what happened. But as they were walking past,
yeah, he sort of touched the father, and he said like, and
then Jacob just flipped.
And it's building on. I thought it was interesting, and there's this storyline, and it was great as well. You know what it was? All the security coming down the ring, no one could stop him. But then Roman said no, and it was like the mum's head off his son, wasn't it? And he stopped straight away, and it's just breaking into that. He really does acknowledge Roman as the original tribal chief, doesn't he? Like, which I thought was great storytelling, to be honest. I know what you're saying about this bloodline thing.
Yeah.
You know what I really liked in this as well? I liked Roman Reigns' promo, because, he brought the nostalgia in it when he brought out, you know, the Bloodline's always been WWE, and he mentioned Rikishi doing the dancing, you know, and I got a pop from that, and like Umaga, and he even mentioned Yokozuna and the Wild Samoans, you know, like I really enjoyed that.
And he sort of says something about like my kids and your kids in 20 years time will be tagging together,
Which I
and
fucking don't
sort of
doubt it, to
hinting
be
like
honest
it's
with you.
never going to stop.
That's all they're doing tomorrow, isn't it? They just fucking wrestle, innit? That's
Yeah,
it.
we
right,
spoke
mate?
about it
Like
last week, didn't we?
You know what I mean?
Just keep producing these big Samoans.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to what you were saying about how he's kind of, you know, he told Jacob to stop, but then he gave the order, didn't it? It's like he thought about it. Jacob, he definitely was going to follow orders, and then he was like, he done the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then he done that splash off the top rope, wasn't it?
Yeah.
After he'd done that, he then sent him up to do it a second time. So Roman is sort of also showing this bit of a ruthless kind of side to him. But I have got a little bit of a theory about what's going on with Roman. I'm going to talk about that in a bit, right? I've got a little theory about why Roman's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And we'll, as I say, we'll come back to that.
We're going to come back to it? Or?
Oh, yeah. So when we talk about the Roman Uso segment later on, I'll give you my little theory about what's going to happen. Okay.
All right, cool.
So yeah, that was the opening promo. Then I think our first match that we got was Io Sky against Raquel Rodriguez,
which totally fucked our predictions, didn't it?
Yes,
two dudes
semi-final
thing. You know, we've been predicting it for weeks, which just goes to show that we are not that good friends with Triple H like we like to perceive, and you know, like we haven't got inside information, and we're just regular guys that like watching wrestling because we do get it wrong. Yeah.
So Io Sky's in the final, but to be honest, I was a bit disappointed. I felt a bit flat after that. I'm thinking now. To me, it doesn't matter who she fights in the final.
I don't understand.
I'm that much less interested now.
It just goes to go with that fucking Raw thing again, doesn't it? The ratings and the
again, is Io Sky going to challenge for a title?
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Disappointed, but I haven't really got much to say about the match. Just not what I expected, and in my opinion, not the right storyline.
Yeah.
There's a couple of negatives this week. As I say, it was a decent show overall, but there are a few little negatives that annoyed me. This next one, mate, is probably the biggest negative. So Seth Rollins had a video package. So he wasn't even there. He didn't come out. He didn't have to suffer the endless chanting of his songs, serenading him and all that rubbish.
You really hated on Seth, like
no, in a way, I was pleased. I was pleased that they didn't bring him out because it never seems to solve anything. So he cut this video package on Braun Breaker, built it up like, you know, we've been at each other this has been going on for 6-9 months or whatever it was. And then at the end of it, he's like, me, you, Braun, at Night of Champions, and it's a steel cage, right? Yeah. And do you know what word popped into my head? Boring, right? Yeah. That, I'm sorry, that's not a big enough payoff, mate. I said to you last week, if it was AEW, this would be a Texas death match.
Yeah.
To finish this off. A steel cage match, boring, uninteresting. All it means is
sickos, definitely.
All it means is that it just means that no one's going to interfere, right? Or actually, in WWE, even if it is a steel cage, they still interfere because someone undoes the door and in they go. So it means nothing. To me, that is not a big enough payoff for this ongoing storyline to end what is supposed to be a bit of a blood feud.
They've definitely dragged that out, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, to end this feud, not good enough in my opinion. And we'll move on from that. I've got nothing more to say about that other than boring, poor booking. Back to some positive then. LA Knight, I'm liking LA Knight at the minute.
He's over and he's red hot.
Yeah, they're giving him TV time. It's as simple as that. Give him TV time, and people remember how good he is. And go, good. Oh yeah, he's exciting. He's like you say, he's always hyped up, and he's always intense.
I don't know if you said it on air or you said it to me, but your prediction was right that you said because posing that even though Solo Sikoa wasn't there helping like Jey Uso. He's like, well, you know, he was helping Royce and Keys, not Peyton Royce, by the way. See, I've done it, yeah. Yeah. First time for everything. So, you know, he's helping Royce and Keys, and he said that he's playing into that bloodline. Oh, he's the bloodline again, but it's not, is it? But you did predict that was going to happen, didn't you?
Can I just say, Dino, right? And I've been guilty of this as well. The reason why we keep fucking up the name and calling him Peyton Royce is because his name is just Royce Keys.
Oh.
And we keep saying Royston, and then I think that's throwing us off.
It's the English, you know, so Royston.
It's just Royce Keys.
It's a bit posh and prim and proper.
Yeah,
Royston.
we've got to get it right. His name is Royce Keys. So yeah. You know, exactly that. I mean, I'm wondering whether there's a bit of a match coming down the line with him and Adam Pearce, because he was a wrestler, wasn't he? Like,
he was
not that long ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he's still got something in the tank, and they build up and they have a match at some point. But it seems like they're at each other every week, doesn't it? So I liked it because it forwards LA Knight's character, and he's basically just going, right, I've told you this was going to happen, so now. Basically, I'm going to do what I always do, which is I'm going to do it my way, because it's the only way that anything gets done.
Yeah.
So, you know, good on him. And yeah, it's interesting to see what happens later on in the show. Then we had a first decent match of the night. We had our man, Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Who, I thought this was a decent match to go against Rusev.
Do you know what I love before you go on?
Nice little tuning match.
I love the theme music choice. It just sort of reminded me of like a Rocky montage, sort of like, you know, pump film, like saying like that, like there's no easy way out.
Yeah.
You know, it's really got you going, and they had the American flag, and they're really pushing the Olympic like hero.
Like one of them 80s movie soundtracks, like a kind of Karate Kid, Rocky,
gonna need a
kickboxer. You know, it was that kind of thing, wasn't it?
It was cool, and he come out. And what did he do? He done the ankle lock. We done the angle slam.
Hey,
you know, so now he's
the full Kurt Angle moveset. I think there was 2 German suplexes in there, mate, and you're waiting for him to hit the
triple German. We ain't seen it in a while.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We ain't seen it. But he hit 2, and then I think the third one was blocked. I remember watching it.
Everyone does the Three
Dino's going to be so excited.
So many people want AW do 3 Amigos, but no one does the triple Germans anymore, do they? Like angle for angle.
So he's been given the angle moveset, mate. We just got to wait to September to speak to
get him
Kurt and say, look, mate, get involved.
Put them together, haven't we? Put
them together. Plant the seed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, as I say, it was a good match. You know, I think there was a bit of afters as well, and the luchadors came down and they shook hands, and it seems
that's definitely an endorsement for FaceTime when you got Rey Mysterio coming out to save you. He's so loved by everyone. So
it sets up some little fun, maybe 3v3 matches, maybe a Rey Mysterio Chad Gable tag match against Ethan Page and Rusev. You know, they can have a couple of matches over the next few weeks, just while we wait for Chad Gable, I think, to move into a different area, because I feel like the plans need to be a little bit higher than that. But get a couple more matches under your belt, sell this wrestling machine character, and then away we go with him, in my opinion. So following on from that, we then had another segment with the Bloodline. So this was backstage. So this is Roman talking to the Usos. Jacob isn't there. Now, the Usos, again, are like saying, Roman, you know, what's going on? What was all that about with Jacob? You know, I thought we were supposed to be in a position where when you're not here, Jacob's following orders from us. And Roman just really, really quickly just sort of said, yeah, well, I changed those plans, right? Now, this is where my theory starts to grow. This is where the little seed starts to grow in my head, where I'm thinking, right? I think the story is that Roman fears Jacob. I think he genuinely fears Jacob. I said in the build-up to that whole tribal combat match that it was the first time that I've ever seen Roman cut a promo where he was actually talking about what would happen if he lost. He never talks about what happens if he lost. He only ever talks about that he is the tribal chief and he wins and the bloodline stay on top, right? He never ever talks about losing, but he did in that Jacob match, right? And the only reason really why he won that match is because they built into the storyline that he took away Jacob's biggest weapon, you know, that the Tongan death grip by hitting him, you know, with the empty toolbox.
Yeah, we
Why
don't
it
wanna
was
go into that
empty?
again,
Why it
do
was
we?
empty?
We don't
I
wanna go
don't
into
know.
that, do we?
No, we're not. All right, we're
We're
going
on the
forwards.
rich
We're
one,
not
mate.
going back. We're going back. We're going forwards. But yeah, I think what this is Roman's way of kind of. He feels like he's controlling Jacob, and he's keeping Jacob on side. He knows he's got to keep Jacob on side, and he knows that he's giving Jacob a little bit more power, right? And Jacob's almost now become his right hand man.
Yeah.
Within like one episode. And I think it's because out of all of them, Jacob's the one that he actually fears that when Jacob does lose his shit, that he can't handle him.
Yeah.
Right? The twins, they've been there time and time before, and he knows how that ends, right? They step up to him and he bashes them back down again. But with
Yeah.
Jacob, I don't think that's happening. So that's my little theory. That's my little theory
It's a good
where
theory, Steve. I don't hate it. Yeah.
But then, and Romans, so they're questioning about like, what's happening with Jacob, and Romans kind of saying, well, you need to be more concerned about people talking shit about us. Basically, he's saying like LA Knights walking around talking about the family. Like, why hasn't someone stopped him?
And then they said
Why
Jim
hasn't
said he was going to
someone
handle it, didn't they?
busted his ass? I think he said.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it was Jay that wanted it.
Yeah.
Jay was like, I'll go talk to him. He's all hyped up. And then, like you said, this new Jimmy
And the
character.
announcers were really selling that he's the diplomatic one, weren't they? Like trying to get it out there, weren't they, when he come out? So they're definitely like playing into that he's the calm, diplomatic one of the family. And when, he says, like, it didn't have to be like this, it didn't have to be like this. So,
yeah.
definitely playing into that character.
And we were saying only last week, didn't we, that we don't really know what to make of Jey Uso at the minute. It's like, what is his character? He seems all over the place. So yeah, that was interesting. So LA Knight comes out, he cuts his promo, he does his explanation of basically saying, I told you this was going to happen. This is exactly what I said. Last week, I told you that the Bloodline would get involved, that they'd all be down there, and guess what? They were. And then that's when Jimmy comes out, tries to have a diplomatic conversation with him, tries to convince him that Solo isn't part of the Bloodline. He's nothing to do with the Bloodline. Solo does his own thing. And then what happens ultimately, Jay can't help but get involved. He comes down. He only makes things worse because he's acting like the hothead at the minute. He's the one that's lost his shit. And there was a really good line actually, because and again, this I think is where this plays into this thing with Jacob. He said to LA Knight, didn't he, that he wanted LA Knight to acknowledge him.
Yeah.
And then can you remember LA Knight's little line that he said? He just basically said in Stone Cold Steve Austin fashion, right? He was like, yeah, I'll acknowledge you. I'll acknowledge that you can kiss my ass.
That was great. I do remember that. Like, that's fantastic.
I just thought that was such a Stone Cold thing to say, isn't it?
He has got a swagger about him. He's talking the mic. I'll definitely give him that. Yeah. But then what happened? Then, he'll go, kicks off. Who has to come down and save him? Big bad Jacob. And he's the one that he couldn't get the job done. And, that's going to play into it. Your boys couldn't get the job done. All right to get the job done.
And that's because Jay pulled in a chair. And then because Jimmy was trying to calm him down, and I think LA Knight wrestled it off of them. So LA Knight then had the chair. And like you say, Jacob has to come and sort of finish the job. So it's playing into this thing that
storyline.
Roman's asking the twins to do stuff. And they're not delivering.
Not.
Jacob is delivering.
Hence why he's getting the father and stuff like that.
Yeah. So all good. And also, did you notice how he put LA Knight down as well?
Yeah, the tongue and
death grip. So it's this makes that move look strong all the time, which I like. Keep that move has got to be kept strong because it ties in with the storyline. So then, following on from that, before we kind of get into the last couple of segments where the episode all sort of ties in together, we had a bit of a nothing match really. Siobhan Evans was cutting a bit of a pointless promo. Austin Theory and Logan Paul came down. Logan Paul's got his arm in a car.
Channing Tatum, sorry.
Shitty Channing Tatum and Logan Paul come down.
And there's something going on with his Austin Theory.
He's still injured, so he can't do anything but talk.
Yeah. Again, they're just flogging this dead horse, aren't they?
Yeah, Austin Theory's just there to get beat every week, mate. Like, he does nothing. So he had a completely pointless match.
Yeah.
with Javon Evans. The only thing that it served, and we picked up on this like a couple of weeks back, is that how can you convince people that Javon Evans is going to win a semi-final against Jey Uso when he's only won one match in 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So they thought, oh shit,
Yeah, but
he's only won one of one match,
maybe that
right, in 3 months. So let's give him a win. Let's give him a win. Let's make him look strong. You know, that's literally all it was, right? A filler match.
Yeah.
Like, I just wasn't interested in it. Didn't do anything for me. Then we've got like the end part of this bloodline feud for the episode where Jacob's speaking to Roman, and again, you know, Roman's kind of I think he said to Roman something like, "Yeah, I handled the business." He said, but the twins weren't happy, and Roman was like, "Yeah, I knew they wouldn't be." But then he's talking to Jacob, and he's sort of doing this thing of, yeah, look, you know, no one understands you, Jacob, but I understand you. And, you know, and hopefully you understand me. And he's doing this kind of like this real sort of mentor thing with him. I'll tell you that the thing that I linked it to, right, and we said this was something else a few weeks ago, it had a bit of a Star Warsy feel about it. It had a bit of an Emperor Apprentice.
Yeah, Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, it had a bit of that about it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, he was kind of like, well, I understand you, no one else understands you, but, you know, if we understand each other, and it was even stuff like, you know, we can rule this place sort of thing. He was kind of almost suggesting that Jacob is his apprentice. And I think that's because he fears Jacob's strengths, basically. So, yeah, really interesting stuff. He whispered something in his ear. He gave him another job. We don't know what it is.
No.
My prediction is it's something to do with maybe making sure that Jey Uso gets through to this final, just making sure that he, like, if Jey's struggling in the match, somehow making sure that he gets there. Make sure that Jey Uso gets through to the final. But I'm sure we'll find out on SmackDown.
We will indeed.
And then the main event of the night.
Dirty Dominic Mysterio against Uber Femi. Well, it was what we thought. Oh, obviously, we
were a bit torn.
I mean, I thought we was going to be some more shit assery. But to be fair, when I see, because I didn't watch it live, when I see that it was only 10 minutes left of the show, by the time I was like, well, this is a squash match. You know what I mean?
Uber doesn't do long matches ever, does he? Really? You know, win or lose. Well, we've only really seen him lose one to Brock. But I mean, we predicted last week that we thought perhaps Dominic had a chance of beating him here. That, you know, perhaps either Dom was going to do some cheating or somehow Brock was going to get involved and Dom would, you know, being the opportunist, would take the opportunity and get the victory. But there was no interference really, apart from, who was it, JD McDonough. You know, again, like everything that they did just had no effect on Uber.
I mean, totally my predictions now, Dirty Dom and the dudes with attitude and the female wing, I was totally
the Dom King and Liv Morgan being the queen. That idea is out the window. So now Ober's in the final, but again, this is my final negative, right? And it was unfortunate that it happened right at the end of the show. Ober started his promo after he won, right, really well, saying that I'm the ruler. I've got one more match before I become the king. I'm going to tying up all the loose ends.
He's a bad promo, is he? For something?
Yeah. I don't mind him on the mic. I think he's decent. And he said, look, you know, it doesn't matter if it's Javon Evans or if it's Jey Uso. He's going to go on and become king of the ring. But then he starts talking about Brock Lesnar. He starts almost calling Brock out, almost taunting Brock, saying that I used to respect you. And now I question whether you're even a man at all.
It's almost like that guy who hasn't got over his like ex-girlfriend. You know what I mean? He's talking about, you know, I'm chatting with his new girls, but you know, like it's like it just sounds a bit weird. Like
I feel like they telegraphed it too much, right? So we were expecting Brock to perhaps get involved at some point, but it feels like they've just telegraphed that far too much. And so when it happens, no one's really going to be surprised because we're now all waiting at Night of Champions for Brock to be there and get involved in this match.
100%.
I'm still 100% convinced that it is going to be Jey Uso, by the way, in the final.
I think it makes sense for the Bloodline storyline. You know, he's going to go on challenging for a title and that. It makes sense.
the timing of when Roman is talking to Jacob is interesting, right? Because so he's talking to Jacob before he knows that Obafemi is in the final. So I'm wondering whether next week now that they know that Oba's in the final, do we think that Roman perhaps fears Oba a little bit? Is Jey Uso's mandate going to be, you fucking make sure that Oba doesn't come after my belt, right? You better win this thing so that you can go and challenge for Cody's belt. And there's no fucking way that Obafemi is getting a shot at my belt. I don't know, maybe Jay's failing and Jacob has to somehow step in and save his arse. Maybe it's not Brock
There's a
at
lot of
all.
Storyline.
Maybe the Brock thing comes later. Maybe
yeah.
it's Jacob that gets involved.
I'm definitely interested to watch that, how it goes down. I can't really predict it now, to be honest.
Yeah. But, mate, I mean, it's got to be Jey Uso. I'm not, I'm not a Jey Uso fan, but
No.
like
I
did say that if he doesn't beat Siobhan Evans, I did say I was going to shave off my beard. So I don't really want to have to shave off my beard.
Yeah, your missus ain't going to be happy.
My missus ain't going to be happy at all.
Oh, dear.
So I will be, for once, I will be cheering on Jey Uso on Friday
first
night.
time revving the yeet man. That's what.
I might even do a yeet as he comes out just to make sure, give him my support. But yeah, that's it really, mate. In terms of what we've got to talk about tonight for Raw.
I think the next episode. We're hoping that SmackDown and all the AEW have been our shows. We've had a lot more to talk about, and we're going to do an episode later on the week, haven't we? So,
yeah, there was a lot more just sort of filler matches while these stories are just sort of tying into Night of Champions.
Well, we have to get out there to our loyal listeners.
Yeah, but a hell of a lot more wrestling coming in the next few weeks because, as you say, we've got these 2 pay-per-views coming up, Night of Champions and Forbidden Door. So it's going to be a busy couple of weeks, and we got a lot of talking and a lot of podcasts to get out there. But yeah, as always, if you've enjoyed this, please give us a like, please subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, check out the bonus video that got released yesterday. It's called the Roster Rumble. It's me and Dino.
Oh, there's some shit house that went down there.
Yeah.
I won't tell her. You need to watch it.
We are working out which is the better roster out of the old WWF Attitude Era 2000 roster, going head-to-head with the current day roster. There's some interesting matches that come out there, some interesting dream matches that we talk about, and some interesting decisions that we made. So if you haven't watched that, as this is a short episode, make sure you have a look at that one or have a listen, because as I say, we are on YouTube, but you can also find us on Spotify.
Please, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, comment. We want to read your comments. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for tuning in, guys. Remember, nobody talks smack like Dino and Steve O'Mac.
And that's D-Truth. See you next week.